just go with,
Yeah.
push us a little bit,
Yeah.
get us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, you're not comfortable.
Like a furnace.
Yeah.
Fire.
You're sweating. There's sweating going on at the furnace.
Taking your jackets. It's too hot.
Just have a phone still around you, right? 5 minutes of fame, but it's whatever. Yeah,
There it is.
there it is. Come on by. I forgot how funny that was. Oh my gosh.
All right, we can play some more in a little bit, but Ramona, do you want to share your dream? And Ramona, she's been here 2 years, 3 years. 3 years, was a baby when she started coming. Just to kind of give you an idea of her gifting, she sees. So when she prays, she sees things with her eyes, with her spirit, very visual dreams, things like that. This is her son, Emmanuel. He likes to help. I found that out last week. And anyway, she had a dream that she felt was important and mentioned she wanted to share it. So, and she's also kind of shy, but God's getting her behind that. There's a microphone, as you moment. I might write some things down. Let me grab my stuff right here. Excuse me.
Make sure you use the microphone. Relax. Okay. Where should I start? Should I start with the churches? The church before the dream? Or should I go check that?
I think you worked out what you were describing tonight.
No. Okay.
Last weekend I was in prayer and the Lord's been really showing me the church, and I've been like, what is it? What is it with the church? So I got my revelation, it was last weekend, and he was showing me that the church is like the womb. And what's lacking in the church is after we get born again, we have nowhere to become a disciple. So he was saying my children their cord needs to be cut off, like the umbilical cord. And I was like, oh, okay. So 3 months ago I had this dream, and I didn't understand it then. But that same weekend, he reminds me of the dream I had 3 months ago. And I had a dream that this man gave me $1,073, and I was like, okay, that's significant. A diamond ring, gold. He was like handing me a gold necklace, and it was kind of dangling in front of me, and a green mantle, and his name was Ben. Okay. So he gave me the interpretation last weekend, and in Psalm 73:10, it says, well, I'm going to read from 6, and this is where I was at in the world. Pretentious with arrogance, they wear the latest fashions and violence, pampered and overfed, decked out in silver bowls of silliness. They jeer, using words to kill. They bully their way with words. They're full of hot air, loud mouths, disturbing the peace. People actually listen to them. Can you believe it? Like thirsty puppies, they lap up their words. So that's the, maybe I should read the whole thing. Okay, so Psalm 73, I feel like it's our generation. So it says, no doubt about it, God is good. Good to good people, good to the good-hearted, but I nearly missed it. And this is David talking. I was looking the other way, looking up to the people at the top, envying the wicked who have it made, who have nothing to worry about Not a care in the whole wide world. Pretentious with arrogance, they wear the latest fashions and violence, pampered and overfed, decked out in silk bows of silliness. They jeer using words to kill, they bully their way with words, they're full of hot air, loud mouths disturbing the peace. People actually listen to them, can you believe it? Like thirsty puppies, they lap up their words. What's going on here? Is God out to lunch? Nobody's tending the store. The wicked get by with everything, they have it made, pulling up riches. I've been stupid to play by the rules. What has it gotten me? A long run of bad luck? That's what. A slap in the face every time I walk out the door. If I'd have given in and talked like this, I would have betrayed your dear children. Still, when I tried to figure it out, all I got was a splitting headache until I entered the sanctuary of God. Then I saw the whole picture, the slippery road you put them on with a final crash in a ditch of delusions, in the blink of an eye, disaster, a blank curve in the dark and nightmare. We wake up and rub our eyes, nothing. There's nothing to them, and there never was. When I was beleaguered and bitter, totally consumed by envy, I was totally ignorant, a dumb ox in your very presence. I'm still in your presence, but you've taken my hand. You wisely and tenderly led me, and then you blessed me. You're all I want in heaven. You're all I want on earth. When my skin sags and my bones get brittle, God is rock firm and faithful. Look, those who left you are falling apart, deserters. They'll never be heard from again. But I'm in the very presence of God. Oh, how refreshing it is. I've made Lord God my home. God, I'm telling the world what you do. So, that's what I'm about to tell you. Okay, so basically, what I'm getting out of the furnace is that Sherry is molded to speak the truth in love, and that her faith offends the flesh. Okay, and so in my dream, the diamond ring means that the Lord wants us to become His bride, because He's the bridegroom. And the gold necklace, that represents the furnace. You know, the gold has to go through the fire. So the furnace represents that. So when we go through the furnace, everything burns off of us. All our flesh, anything that's not of God, it will burn. And after that all happens, we actually gain prosperity. So that's where the green mantles are. So He wants to purify us. He wants to purify our mind and our heart before He prospers us, because He wants us to be stewards and to not be, how do you say it? I don't know how to say it, like, not care about the money, but...
Yeah, where it goes loosely through your hands, so you're using it to further the kingdom.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and the word Ben means blessed and happy, and He wants us to be blessed and happy, and that's what the furnace does. We go through this fire, we go through conviction and all that, but what comes out is that we become blessed and we prosper. And we know, we have the new perspective of why we live here. And so that's what Sherry's doing, and then she's raising us up to bring more furnaces, because that's what I think our generation needs is, the furnace to become a disciple. Because we have where we get saved and we become born again, but then there's nowhere to equip us to become the disciples that we are meant to be.
That's interesting on the diamond and the bride of the necklace, because when Nehemiah went through a very difficult time with a previous church, and I told God, I said, the only way, that's fine. The only way that we can that we'll leave, Father, is if you show us both in a dream. Now, Mike, he doesn't dream, so I tend to. And so anyway, that night, we both had 2 dreams, one each. And in mine, my stepmother hired me to prepare the bride. And I kept trying to mess with the necklace to get it on just right. And she kept coming and interrupting me and stopping me and putting on all this other stuff instead of what she hired me to do. And so I knew that dream, stepmoms often represent legalism or a legalistic church. And I knew God was saying, if you're going to fulfill your job of preparing the bride, you have got to get out. And then Mike had one of those weird, I don't know, Rottweiler, Pine Street, I don't know what all, but it definitely went along with it. And so, but I did see the furnace in the future. I just knew that in order to fulfill my call, I had to leave. But that's really good. Anybody else have anything before we worship?
I seem to be running into people that are looking for the real church. I went into Albertsons yesterday, and we don't hardly go into Albertsons, but make a long story short, and I don't know why this is happening. It seems like the Hispanic culture is catching on fire more than us gringos are. I don't know why, but I'm sensing that. But due to a technical malfunction on the card reader in the checkout, I had a good spiritual conversation with a Hispanic lady in Albertsons, and long story short, she said, you talk about technical electronic gizmo. I ain't taking that mark, I'm going underground. We got started. And then today, we had a guy come in the store from Chicago. And this guy's a talker. And I'd seen him 8 months ago, he was there. He's moving to Chicago to life. Oh my goodness. He's trying to get out of Chicago. Things are getting bad.
What on earth?
Things are getting bad.
Getting real bad.
Wow, that's tiny compared to Chicago.
So anyway, he's a talker, and we hit it off 8 months ago. He said, I think about you every day, there's some stuff I've got right down. You know, we talked, and about an hour and a half.
About 3.
No, we were in the store.
Y'all talking an hour and a half, you stored another hour and a
He was in
half.
his moving van truck. We stood at the parking lot, we talked for a good while. We got to talk about things in the church, and he said, he started talking about Jesus and his believers, and stuff like that. And he said, something that he wasn't part of a regular church. He didn't really. But I said, you and I are having church right now, Todd. He broke in tears. He said, thank you for including me in that. This is a guy from Chicago. I don't know. And this is a lady in Albertsons checkout. The checker. How people go.
Yeah.
And all these things, it's like people are hungry for a real, that is church. We don't have to be in a building.
Just a regular church on wheels.
Yeah.
One thing
I've
that,
seen that more and more.
yeah, well, God is doing it actually. He's networking people together. And because, in the Bible, like we think we need maybe, once a week, twice a week, that's a lot. But in the Bible, we meant daily. In fact, in Hebrews, Paul said, do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together. And a lot of preachers would use that to say you have to go to church, right? But what that really means is he's talking about, as believers, we're family. We're not an organization. We're not, a nonprofit. We're family. And that means you do life together. And so he says, don't forsake the assembling of yourselves together, especially as you see the day approaching. And so what God is doing is he's literally networking people that have been wanting more, they haven't known where to find more. In fact, God told me, he said, there are people I'm going to bring to furnace, because the goal is, like I was telling you guys earlier, we're building deep. We're going deep. The foundation's going to be deep. Because every one of you guys will be called upon to help, because this is a prophetic word I received from a lady named Lori. She said, have you ever watched the movie about Secretariat, that horse? And I said, no. She said, you need to watch it. She said, because there was a time in history where it was ripe for a new thing, a new technology, and it was the car. And this guy had built all these non-horse buggies, and that's what they would call them, it was non-horse buggies, and he created all these, but no one saw the need to quit using their horse. And a lot of people don't see the need to go to the next level, to go to what it's supposed to look like. They don't see a need because things are going well. She said, but here's what happened. They had a major earthquake in California during that time. And a lot of the horses got killed, or they could not get places they needed to go, and the cars could. And she said, this is what I feel about the furnace. She said, you're going to build and build and build. And she said, don't get discouraged. Which I've had a lot of teaching on that. Rick Drenner, he taught a lot on that. Don't get discouraged with numbers, because that's not what it's about. And she said, you're going to build and build and build. And she said, one day something's going to happen. And all of a sudden, people are going to wake up and recognize their need for the furnace. And so God showed us early on, we're not going to get a building that seats 10,000 people and, got fancy stuff, everybody comes out with lights, which lights are really cool. I wouldn't mind that. But, this whole production, he said, when you get to 150, break off 50 of your best people and start another one. Get that one there, start another one, and just multiply it, because he told me, I'm going to start a wildfire in Clovis, New Mexico, that it'll start burning and no man will be able to stop it. So you guys are a part of that, and y'all are people that are very important and precious to the Lord. This is Yolanda, by the way, this lady that helps my partner in crime with the Soul Prosperity Clinics. I really don't care about time, but I want to make sure we have plenty of time for worship. I don't want to draw attention to the young couple up here, but if y'all can pray for them, we just pray for them to get specific jobs, specific pay, which you just got one on it. So if you have anything that you want to, but I'd like to just spend a few moments praying for them. And if y'all get anything, we'll just say where we're at. We'll just see if God gives us anything for them. They seem very close, very loving, and very sweet. And where did his guitars go? He saw Elizabeth's guitar case. He wanted to see it. And so we're like, come eat pizza with us. Hopefully y'all haven't been too bored. But anyway, I just want to bless him. And how old are you guys?
I'm 18, she's 21.
Wow. 18. My son's 24 almost. And you're 21. So you're, oh my God. So that's my daughter-in-law over there. And Tyrone, you're 21, aren't you?
26.
Oh, you're 26. Why did I think you were 21? I mean, that would be like, what, 14? Elementary school. All right, but let's just pray and see if we get anything. Especially you, I think you might have some. I'm not going to put pressure and dictate, but all right, so you could just pray a little bit.